for joining me on Close to Death. I'm your host, Selena Roane, and this is powered by FEAR Paranormal and ECM Wicked Radio. Tonight, I have a guy that I've been really following for quite a while. I met him through Barry Klinge, and he is a really awesome guy, generous man. He does a lot of charity work. He actually owns the original Mystery Machine. He owns the Haunted Art Theater in Auburn, Illinois. And he has recently purchased Ashmore State. And he is refurbishing and remodeling and fixing up. And maybe not remodeling, but he's definitely fixing it up. He's cleaned it out. He's done such a great job. But my guest tonight is Robin Terry. I saw him recently at the Stanley Hotel event for Lost Limbs Foundation. We'll be talking a little bit about that. He's got a lot of things going on. May run out of time. May have to have him come back again. He should be calling here in a few minutes. He was also recently just featured on Barry Klinge's new series called Strange Curiosity, which is some short documentaries of different locations. And actually, episode 3 was called A Killer Coincidence, and it was shot at Robin's place there in Auburn, Illinois, at the Haunted Art Theater. And I just got through watching it again, and it was rather captivating. I've been wanting to go up there for quite some time now, and I think 2015 I'm going to have to hit both places. Anyway, Ashmore State, he has also got some huge thing going with Nick Groff, formerly of Ghost Adventures. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Is he on with us yet? No. Okay, well, he should be calling here in a few minutes. Like I said, he does a lot of charity work with St. Jude's Hospital, Lost Limbs Foundation. They'll take the Mystery Machine, Scooby and the gang, and they'll go down to, I've seen them at Scarefest, I've seen them at quite a few things, and raise money for the charities that they're involved with. The Haunted Art Theater, he's had that for quite some time. He's actually, I believe he lives there. Not real sure. We'll get that from Robin when he comes on. At the Stanley Hotel, he participated and gave, actually donated for the auction, the investigation for Ashmore State, which is, God, that place, I can't even wait to go there. I've heard so much about it. And now that now that he's cleaned it all up, and he says that there's voices that go through there all the time, he's doing work, and he hears knocks and stuff that are not him, disembodied voices like crazy, shadow people. I can't really wait to actually go and check it out for myself. The Strange Curiosity, if you want to see that about the Haunted Art Theater, it is on YouTube. If you look up Barry Klinge's Strange Curiosity, it is episode 3 called A Killer Coincidence. And I'm not going to give it away. You'll just have to watch it. But it's about a very prominent serial killer in the Chicago area, around that area or whatever. So check it out. It was really actually very good. And Robin's place is just amazing. And I don't know, that's my dream place to live. You got all your little toys, all your little paranormal equipment, haunted. He has the Mystery Machine. I mean, wow, what a life. How cool is that? We heard some news recently about Nick Groff leaving Ghost Adventures. We really don't know why, and probably never will. But Nick is supposed to be having an event at Ashmore State, which I believe is the first part of next year, possibly. I'm not real sure. I have to check that out. But he's supposed to be there with Robin and doing a huge event at Ashmore. I think there's VIP tickets, and you get to actually investigate with Nick. So you look on the Ashmore State page, and I'm sure they've got all the information there. And Nick Groff I believe it's Ghost Tours is what he's calling it. And so you can check those out. Have we gotten our guests on the line yet?
Not yet, honey.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep talking about whatever. We have an event coming up with Darkside Entertainment in February, over February 13th and 14th weekend, Valentine's weekend, at the Sloss Furnace in Birmingham, Alabama. It's going to be an extremely cool event. I've been challenged by Blaine Rohan to stay down in the tunnels as long as I possibly can. And
Selena?
Yes.
You get to there, honey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, Robin, how are you tonight?
That's good. How are you doing, Selena?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. I've kind of been telling the people a little bit about you and the things that you got going on, and kind of wanted to say that it was great to see you at the Stanley Hotel event.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you guys out there as well.
Oh, man, was that not awesomely beautiful with the snow and the elk and all that? It was just, wow.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at how much the elk just kind of wander through downtown.
Like they're just pedestrians and they're just part of it. It was really cool. It was beautiful. But I was telling the audience a little bit about you owning the Mystery Machine, and that you do a lot of charity work, and that you own the Haunted Art Theater in Ashmore Estates. And, you know, I just got through watching the rest of The Strange Curiosity, Episode 3, Killer Coincidence, with Barry Klinge, and, man, let me tell you, that was really good. I had no idea you had spirits like that. I mean, I knew there were spirits there because Brad and Barry told me that it was an active location, but, wow. I mean, I didn't give it away. I want people to watch it, but I'll tell you a little bit. It is about a serial killer in the Chicago, Illinois area. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was I mean, the whole thing was just a total coincidence. I wasn't even around that. I mean, I was in the building that night, but I was back with a brand new group of people that never investigated before, working with them, and then some psychics that my wife took off and wanted to the building and everything, and all this stuff transpired while I was in the back. And in fact, they came out, and my wife looked really kind of strange at the time, and I'm like, "You're all right?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "What was going on?" She's like, "Oh, I'll tell you later." Okay. So yeah, it was pretty weird. You know, so I found out about it after the fact. It was like, dang, this is strange, but it all kind of made sense in a way. I mean, it's, you know, if people are not going to believe it ever happened, and I'm okay with that because, you know, from doing paranormal work and anybody else that does it, you know, I know what I catch or I know what I come up with, and I'm good with that. I don't need the whole world to know what's going on. And but that was such a strange coincidence, you know, that whole thing happened. That I was telling Brad about it when I was out at his place this year, and he's like, "Man, we got to go shoot an episode because that's just bizarre." So they did, but it made sense. And actually, I've talked to the attorney quite a bit after the fact with some of that, and she's actually given me a few other pieces of information that, you know, it just make us really go, you know, kind of like, wow, it even gets thicker and thicker and longer with the stuff that we've picked up since then. So.
Wow, that's so crazy. And, you know, the way it was actually shot, it was really, really good. And I don't know, I've always been kind of curious when it comes to serial killers, what goes through their mind. That one's one that you really can't figure out at all. I'm going to go ahead and bust it out and just John Wayne Gacy is who we're talking about. Now, that man was some sick puppy, and how in the world it connects, which is close, you know, Illinois. It's Illinois. That's where he was from. That's where all this stuff happened. You know, it can totally make sense. But you have to watch Strange Curiosity of that episode to see what I'm talking about, to understand the correlation. I mean, it was really crazy. And you know, the Ashmore thing, after the Strange Curiosity, after you bought the Haunted Art Theater and you actually refurbished it and fixed it up and done a lot of things with it, and you actually have a haunted attraction there every Halloween. Is that correct?
Well, we did have until this.
You did have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Illinois changed some laws that said that you now have to have sprinkler systems in all your haunted attractions, and we weren't going to go to the expense of putting that sprinkler system in, so we stopped it. Last year was our last year, but we raised $10,000 to donate to St. Jude Children's Hospital last year, so we were pretty happy with the way we went out anyway.
Yeah, you know what? That's another thing I totally think is cool is the Mystery Machine and how you take Scooby and the gang and you go around to Scare Fest and all these conventions and hospitals and things like that to raise money for different, charities. Mostly it's for St. Jude, is that right?
We do. What we've been doing is we split it through St. Jude Children's Research Hospital as well as junior diabetes. Norma's her nephew actually has, my nephew as well, but he has junior diabetes, so we decided that we're going to split everything between St. Jude Children's Hospital and junior diabetes.
That is awesome. But, you also are such a giving guy. You did so much for Lost Limbs Foundation at the Stanley. That was so cool of you to auction off a investigation and the people that, purchased it. That helped us so much. We're trying to actually talk. I'm working with Mike and Crystal and trying to get an event here in Dallas going for 2015, and I'm hoping to God I can put it together because I think it'll be very successful. Everyone loves Chip Coffey, you know what I mean, and they want him to come back to Dallas, and Ben Hansen hasn't been here. So, we're trying to get that going, and I want to help that foundation out as well as a couple of other foundations. And, we've raised money for St. Jude and kids and things like that. And I just think giving, period, and I know it makes you feel just as good as it does me, because you did auction stuff, and then you auctioned off an investigation to help out. I mean, you're just that kind of a guy. You're just too cool. And the Mystery Machine, kids love it. Adults love it. I mean, hell, I still watch Scooby-Doo, you know what I mean? So it's really cool to me, and I appreciate what you do for St. Jude and all the other charities that you do donate to.
Oh, thanks. We try to do what we can. Sometimes we get stretched a little bit too thin like we have this past year, but we still try to get out and do as much as we can with it anyway.
Yeah, I know. I was like, are you going to bring it to Stanley? And you're like, yeah, that's a long freaking haul. I'm like, I'm glad you didn't, because you would have slid down the freaking side of the mountain in that sucker. That was some crazy driving out there on Saturday when we were there at the Stanley, because it was snowing like no other. But it was just so amazingly beautiful, I didn't even care. Driving was not like in the cards, though, for my group. It was a little bit intense, so we decided not to drive a whole bunch. But after, you had the Haunted R for quite a while, then you got a chance to purchase Ashmore Estates. How in the world did that come about? Just by chance, or you're just a lucky guy?
Well, it was actually kind of a fluke, because we were going to sell all the haunted house props that we had. I had owned probably 95% of it. And so we were going to sell it and just get rid of it, because we weren't going to be doing it anymore. And I had a guy contact me and said he was interested and wanted to know if he could come over and take a look. So he came over and was looking at everything and picked out a bunch of stuff that he wanted and everything. And we were talking, and he said, well, I'm going to move my haunt this year. He said, because of the Illinois laws. He's like, we're going to Indiana. And I said, well, where's your haunt? And he told me it was at Ashmore Estates. And I said, I've been out there once before. I said, investigate the place. I said, it's a cool building. And he said, yeah, I'm just going to sell it. And, of course, I think when he said I'm going to sell it, I think my wife's, like, shaking her head like, oh, no, here we go. And,
yeah. Poor Norm. Poor Norma.
I set up a time to go over and take a look at it and see what it looked like over there, because the roof blew off it a couple years ago, and nobody ever did anything with the roof or anything. And the place was in bad shape. I mean, it needed a lot of work and a lot of attention. But when we were walking through it, and I'm not sensitive, I'm about sensitive as a rock, but we went through the building, it just had this feeling that people were, like, reaching out and saying, please help us. It wasn't so much helping the individuals, the spirits of the building, it was like helping their building. And I've got some friends of mine that are psychics here in town that actually came to the building here quite a few times at the theater, and they told me, they said, you always have an entourage with you. So we were joking and saying, the entourage was probably over there and said, you should see what he's done to our building. And they figured, after working with the R and fixing it up, so I just decided at that point that I was going to see if I could buy it, and we worked out a deal between the two of us and ended up buying it. And bought it I think it was like May 3rd, whatever that Friday was. I think it was May 3rd this year I bought it. So we've had
and man, you've done like so much work to it. I mean, when you first took pictures when you went in, it was like, good Lord. And you you were like, I don't even know where to start. You know what I mean? I just don't even know where to start. So I think you were like strategically figuring out one floor at a time, one section at a time or something, and you just went to town on it. And I've seen the pictures since, and it looks really good. You just got new windows, did you not?
Yeah, but my real goal out there when I bought it is I didn't think I'd have any help at all, really. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'll just go ahead and buy it and, start working on it and see what I can do. And it was amazing because that day I posted on Facebook, actually, sitting in my truck outside the lawyer's office after we closed on it, and I said, the only thing better about owning one haunted location is owning two. And I took a picture of Ashmore Estates, and my phone blew up. And in fact, actually, Mike Couch came up on that. I think it was a Saturday. Yeah, he came up on Saturday. A couple of guys came up from the Alton area and helped out. I mean, I didn't ask these guys; they just all started popping up, and we've had so much help out there. I mean, Philip Scarf, a friend of mine that I actually met from him coming out there, he kind of best said it. He said, "You may own it, but it belongs to all of us." And I kind of think that's true. I said, it was originally a poor farm. I mean, that's what it was for out there. And it's a deep building to go through and renovate, do some things with. But I may own it, but it's kind of nice to have people come out and enjoy it. I mean, everybody comes out there and helps work on it. They've had a good time with it. They feel like they've done something. They can see the difference. And I was hoping to have a roof on it by September 1st. We had that on June 1st. I was hoping to have some windows in there, at least the front of the building, by the end of October, beginning of November. And we actually have all the windows in the complete building done. There was 82
Wow.
openings. There was 82 openings in that building to fill. So they're all completely in now.
Wow. Now those things aren't cheap either. That's gotta take a little hit to the pocketbook. So hopefully you had some friends giving you some deep discounts and and things like that at home building places and like Home Depot and Lowe's and wherever else you shop up there in the north end of place. Because I know the grocery stores are all different up there. I forgot what it's called, Jewel Osco or something like that in the Chicago area when I lived up there. But yeah, that's got to be crazy. And it's so funny how they say that para-unity doesn't exist anymore. That's just not true. It does exist. It's just harder to find now. But when you find it, man, it comes out of the woodwork to help you. It is so cool to see people from all different teams, from different places in the country coming to help you. And that's para-unity to me. I mean, you don't have to be investigating one place, together, but they were coming together to fix a place that all of us can enjoy. And you're right. They were right when they said that. It is your building, but it will belong to pretty much all the investigators that come through there. They'll probably leave like I did Stanley with a memory and an experience that I'll never forget. And I mean with the Haunted Art Theater, Brad and Barry did nothing but always say that place is no joke. There's activity there. And they did mention the green room there, which is funny when I saw Chris dressed up as that. I was like, wow, what a perfect day, John Wayne. So it was kind of cool to at least know the people that were in there, Gio, and I didn't really know the other guy that was on camera, but,
they weren't even on camera. That was kind of a fluke deal where because I had caught some stuff on my security cameras, just for some reason I decided to go back and look at some of the footage, and I said something to Brad, and he said, hey, come here, listen to this, and he did. I'm like, I don't think that's Gio or Jake. And he's like, no. And he brought Gio and Jake in, and you can kind of watch the blood draining out of their face when they heard that. They're like, because they'd never experienced anything like that. And Gio, I know, had been out to 3 or 4 different places with Brad filming. I think he was with you guys out, when you guys did the original Shadows on Route 66.
Yeah. Let me tell you, he had an experience there, and the other camera guy that we had on our crew for Shadows, named Ruben, he wouldn't go upstairs in the Galena murder bordello by himself to turn out lights or anything after he felt something touch him or say something in his ear. I think it was Gio that had somebody whisper something in his ear, and he flipped out. We were in the middle of a field, and Chip was doing a reading on. We were trying to get him to tell us where the Staffelback, shack or homestead was. And all of a sudden, Gio, you should have seen his face. He just like freaked out, and he's like, "We're like, what's wrong?" And he's like, "Some female just whispered in my ear," and it freaked him out and it scared him. And then Reuben wouldn't go back up into the upstairs area. So I'm sure he's never had an experience like that, like where he heard an actual, real clear EVP. The other EVP that was in there was really cool too, but yeah, Gio hasn't had, like, I don't think he's had anybody touch him or anything like that. I think Reuben possibly got touched. And he was like, I'm done, I'm good. So I would have to go up and turn all the lights out in the bordello and tell Nancy good night and stuff like that. Brad didn't rub Nancy right. Nancy stapled back the spirits to bordello. He rubbed her kind of wrong, but it was kind of funny. He kind of does that when he goes in, and I think with John Wayne, he did it right because John Wayne was a jerk. So he kind of deserved getting his butt chewed a little bit and get told all that stuff, but he got a reaction. But how long did it take them to actually film up there at the Haunted Art Theater? Did they just do 3 days? Or, I mean, because people think on TV and when they see a documentary that it's just shot in one day, and it's not like that. It's a lot of stuff to go through to edit down to put the story together.
Yeah, they drove up. They drove straight through from San Antonio here. It was like 16 hours. And they came up, and we set up interviews on Monday for them. They did all the interviews with most people on Monday. Then I worked with them on Tuesday. And then actually they were going to leave on Wednesday morning, but they wanted to do an investigation. And it didn't come out on in the episode, but I think that Brad might do a follow-up episode of this. We're going to see. But they decided to go investigate that morning, on Wednesday morning, before they left back to San Antonio. So they were
wow.
Yeah, so they started the investigation about 8 o'clock in the morning, which goes to prove that you don't have to investigate in the middle of the night or 2 o'clock or something like that to catch things. So anything that they caught and all the experiences they had that they caught on camera, everything during that, was like from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's spirits are around us all the time. It's just at night, everything is quiet. Everything slows down. There's not traffic. There's not people. There's not hustle and bustle. So you can't hear these sounds. You can't hear the knocks. You can't hear all this stuff because you're not paying attention to it. It's during the day. It's too busy. But at night, when you're sitting in a room and it's dark and it's quiet, you can hear these things. That's the only reason people think nighttime investigation is better. And it could be for contamination purposes. But there's always activity. I don't care what time of day or night. Now, another thing I was telling the audience is that Nick Groff of Ghost Adventures has recently left the team. There was some crazy stuff that George Lopez and them were testing out about what people believe when the media tells you stuff. And they're following up their show tonight with the results of it. But they actually said that Zach fired Nick. And they were outside supposedly of Nick's house or Zach's house last night on a live stream report saying that they were picketing his house and all this other stuff. And people actually bought it. But Nick, I don't think that's all the case. They were just trying to see, just like with the Ferguson riots and things that are going on right now in our world, they're trying to do like a huge test thing and see just how gullible people are with what the media tells you. But Nick, either way, is not on Ghost Adventures anymore. He went off on his own, and he will be at Ashmore. Tell us a little bit about that, because that is so cool. I wish I could come up there for that. But tell us a little bit about that. Well, actually, Jeff Aldridge and Jennifer and Lee Kirkland, I met when I was down at Scarefest for the last couple of years and talked to them. And when they decided to put this Nick Groff tour together, they're going to different places and all that Nick had been to in the past. And Jeff got a hold of me and said, "Hey, are you interested in possibly bringing in a celeb, to the Ashmore?" And in fact, I kind of responded to him and said, "You mean Nick?" And he was, I don't know who he was talking about, but I said, "Yeah, we'd be glad to have, to do something like that." So I'm not really, basically I told somebody April 11th, and they're going to do an investigation. They've got different different things set up for it as far as with the tour and everything on how you can get tickets. They've got a VIP package, they've got a meet and greet package, and just where they're going to do like a meet and greet and question and answer session, and then just like a meet and greet where you can get a picture signed and everything. So it's going to be pretty good. The seating is going to be a little more limited because we don't have a huge banquet hall. I mean, we can put probably 100 to 115 people and chairs in there, right in that area, and then we'll have to have some standing room only. So people looking to get tickets, they should probably get them in advance. You can get them at nickgrofftour.com. That's their website that you can pick up tickets. So it'll be a lot of fun. Nick had an experience in the boiler room when he did the episode out there where he got scratched. So I'm sure he's probably thinking about coming back down and going down there and seeing what's going on. And I know I personally had an experience down in the boiler room. Didn't get scratched, but something kind of stopped my foot from wanting me to walk through it one time when I was down there. So I know that's a pretty active area down in the boiler room, and a lot of people kind of freak out down there.
Yeah, what is it about boiler rooms and tunnels and things like that? Because the Stanley Tunnel was no joke, and Lisa and I were jacked with pretty hard. I was pretty shaken up for a few hours, and I've never felt that way before. It kind of freaked me out. But it's something about the tunnels, like in Sloss Furnace. I've been, challenged to stay underneath the tunnels because people get scratched and jacked with and things like that. But Nick, when I religiously watched Ghost Adventures. After my mom passed, I just started watching every ghost show there was. Ghost Lab, Ghost Adventures, all of them, Hunters, all of them. And Nick has always been my favorite one. The one that keeps the level head as much as possible. The one that, I've seen him freak out a few times. I mean, my gosh, if I saw some lady standing in front of me and my camera and that's all I could see, I would freak out and start taking off a little bit maybe. But, he was the one that really kept it kind of level. And I've been wanting to meet these guys for a long time. Aaron is just really funny. He's just like, his facial expressions made it. But Nick was the one, and I hear he's also training to be an American Ninja Warrior, which is too cool. So if you want to meet Nick Groff, if you want to see how Nick does his thing, you got to get tickets to Ashmore Estates, and Robin and them, they're great hosts. Do you have any other things that are going on at Ashmore? I mean, are you actively setting people up to come up and investigate? Is there teams just like beating down your door now, or what?
I would say they're beating down the door, but we've right now. We're not in Texas, so it's probably 25 degrees outside here today. But we do have we have been selling still some investigations there at Ashmore, where we've got a special for January and February. Where we're taking $100 off to come out there and investigate. And we do have a warm room out there that's pretty good size. But, since I do investigations myself, we've kind of set the place up basically the way I'd like to see a place set up. We've got a warm room. We've got banks of electrical outlets in there. There's a monitor in there, so if somebody forgets their monitor, we've got one sitting out there for them. If they need a DVR system, we've got a refrigerator, microwave, coffee pot sitting out there now. We've got easy access. They can drop wires to all the floors. We're going to probably run our own wires and have them sitting out there so people can bring their DVR systems in and just hook up to our own wires and not have to worry about that. We're going to build this spring. We're building 2 bunkhouses, basically, so the 4 people can stay in each one out there. And we've got a large gas grill out there that they can use, and so we've got some. We're doing some different things out there, trying to make it a little bit more paranormal friendly at Ashmore. Then,
yeah, well, your equipment cases in the episode made me almost cry. I was like, look at all the toys he's got. And so when you were talking to Ben about the night vision stuff, I looked at Norma and I said, well, there he goes. He's going to get him those toys. He goes, he can do whatever he wants with his money. I don't even care. And I'm like, boy, he is like a big old kid with the paranormal stuff. You love using paranormal equipment, huh?
Yeah, we did pick up the set of night vision glasses. I haven't had a chance to really use them yet, but give them out some time and play with them, see how they work. But we were going to do it as a family, but just kind of ran out of time out there. So, but I kind of collect some equipment, between Frank's boxes and stuff like that. And also, it's always picking some things up and just can stream it. We'll have, I'm going to have like 15 cameras out at Ashmore that I can just look at anytime I want to, just for my own, my own viewing away from, I'm sitting over here 2 hours away from Ashmore, I can still see what's going on over there.
Wow, that's nice. Jeremy from Paranology is having some cameras that he's put out that you can actually hook up 64 of them to your cell phone. And they're orbital. They're 360-degree orbital cameras. And they're like, I don't know, they're a little over $200 a piece, but there's a program that you put on your cell phone and you can work them. You can actually, there's actually sound on them because they're panoptic, and you can actually talk to, say, your teammates in a room setting it up somewhere. You can actually hit that camera and go, hey, move it over there, or put it in the center of the room, or whatever, and they can hear you, and you can actually conversate. You can pick up EVPs with them and everything. So that's pretty cool system, but a little expensive when you're talking 64 times 200. But you have the capability of doing that much if you wanted to on a actual cell phone. So that's pretty cool. So do you have any more events that are coming up for the Haunted Art Theater? Or, have you talked to anybody about setting anything up like Brad and Barry used to do events up there once or twice a year, I thought. And I know that Brad and Barry are Brad's more focused on the documentaries right now, and I think they're doing some kind of tours around San Antonio. But do you have anything set up with the Klinge brothers or anybody like that for the Haunted Art Theater?
Well, Brad and I are working on something, to possibly later this, in the spring or early summer in next year. We're thinking about trying to put together something to go along with this episode 3. And doing something like that. Bringing some people in that to talk about things not just paranormal, but just strange things like have happened in that, and things like what's the spirit, what's the difference between spirits and ghosts? Why do certain things like the synchronicity of that whole event? How does that happen? And how can it happen? And what are the psychics? How do they see this type of stuff? Just kind of almost like a huge question and answer session for the day, and doing something along that line, and doing an investigation along with it as well. So, because there's a lot of stuff that's popped up since that episode's been released that even make things even question how much more, because we're still seeing things popping up with the coincidences of Casey in this location and all.
That's crazy, because and he did mention at the end of the episode that he is going back to get more answers from John Wayne Gacy. So I believe you will be seeing another episode of Strange Curiosities. Just from me knowing Brad, when he says something like that, yeah, he's probably going to go back. Just by pure knowing him, he ain't playing around. When he gets on something, he gets on it. And so I can pretty much guarantee you he'll be back up there. But I'm just wondering what kind of, I know you'll probably be at Scarefest. I'll think I'm supposed to be there too. Do you go to Phenomenology, I believe it is, in Gettysburg area? Do you attend that one as well?
No, I didn't really get to too many at all last year except Scarefest, where we were working with Lost Limbs. This year we're going to do a few more. I'm going to be over in Scottsburg, Indiana, a couple times there with Lost Limbs, as well as the Mystery Machine over there, to those 2 events, one in March and one in April. And then I'm not sure what else we're doing, if we're going to do anything else pops up there or not. But there's a couple. There's one down Springfield, Missouri, might do that. We actually do our own Unity Day at the Art Theater here, January 31st. Where we'll do an investigation on the Friday night before that, and then we've got about a half dozen different speakers coming in on Saturday to talk, and then we'll do an investigation that night here at the building. So since we're in Illinois, it's kind of cold out, and so it's kind of a hit and miss type thing. So what we do is we charge $10, and that includes lunch and snacks. So that way nobody has to worry about leaving the building. They just come in and out of the cold and enjoy the day here with a bunch of people. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow, that's cool, because I remember when I lived up in Schaumburg and Bartlett area, God, I know exactly what you mean by bitter cold up there. That wind, when it hit you, it would cut your bones in half, it felt like. From somebody from Texas that wasn't used to it, it was a total culture shock. So I know exactly January is very cold there. I remember not being able to find my Mazda pickup truck a couple of times because there was so much snow that it just covered up my truck. So how would they go about getting the tickets for the actual Lost Limbs? Would they go to the Lost Limbs Foundation? Is it lostlimbs.org or is it lostlimbsfoundation.org? I can't remember.
It's lostlimbsfoundation.org.
Okay.
And
they can you can donate there too as well. It has a little bill to donate anytime, and I mean $5. If you can just donate $5, you don't know how much all that adds up to help people that need these prosthetics. It's a great cause. So where can they go to there and they will find the event tickets for the Mystery Machine in Indiana? Is that where it's going to be?
Yep, it's going to be over at the Scottsburg, Indiana, on March 21st, and then April 17th, 18th, and 19th. March 21st is actually going to be, we've got Grant Wilson and Ben Hansen coming in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of a fun day there. It'll be on that Saturday, March 21st. Grant and Ben are going to do a kind of a Q&A session and then an investigation that night. And then on the weekend in April, 17th, 18th, 19th, it's pretty much like a Paracon where he's going to have there'll be a lot of horror-type actors and a lot of paranormal-type people. And Chip's going to be there. Steve Gonzalez is going to be there. Ben Hansen, Scott Tefferman, Rosalind Brown.
Oh, wow.
And so he's got quite a few people coming in, for those days. And he hasn't released them all yet. I mean, I know a few other ones that he's told me that he's looking at that are possibly coming in. So it ought to be it'll be a big event. It's going to be kind of nice there at Scottsburg. They've got a great location over there for it. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then all the money's going to a great cause with Lost Limbs. So it should work out pretty well.
Definitely. That's what we're trying to get done here. And, boy, I'm telling you, putting an event like that together is just not easy, trying to get everybody's schedule to coincide with one another. And, getting sponsored and all that stuff it's kind of crazy at times. So I know it takes a lot of planning, but I'm all over it. After I met Mike and heard his story and, met his sister Crystal and just saw, being all involved and Chip and you and everybody, it just made me want to help because I thought the event would be a lot bigger as far as the people that were there. They missed out on an extremely cool event. Whoever didn't get to make it missed out because I don't know that they're going to have another one next year because, I don't know how much money that he actually made for the foundation. But that's why I said, you know what? Dallas people, Texas people are very, very generous in giving. And I actually have a doctor here that is a close friend of mine who is a prosthetic doctor. And it just thought like a light bulb went off. And I was like, we can do this. We can make a lot of money for the foundation in Dallas. And, all we have to do is bring a couple of people in and, have it at a nice place. And I guarantee you tickets will sell like crazy because I don't know how many times I've seen on Chip's page people going, come to Dallas. When are you coming to Texas? And he comes, but not often enough for them. So hopefully we can get everything worked out because I would really like to help Mike. And if you guys want to give to St. Jude or the Junior Diabetes Association, we can have those links for you. I'll put them on the show page and everything, Close to Death on Facebook. We'll also put the Lost Limbs Foundation on there, and that way you can donate to any of these for Christmas. It would be nice. And $5 would help. Don't you agree, Robin? It does add up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it even helps. In fact, I thought it was a nice gesture of you because you had mentioned something about your birthday was coming up, or when you had your birthday recently, you just asked people to donate $5 instead of buying you a Christmas or birthday card or birthday present or something like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my birthday's actually in 2 days, and I'll be 46, and my life is pretty good. You know what I mean? I don't really need a whole lot of nothing. I'm happy where I'm at, and these people can use it a lot more than I can. I want children and people to have as much of a normal life as they can. And I'm blessed to have my child is healthy. I don't have to go through that stuff. My cousin's children are healthy, but there are people out there who need the help. And so, like I said, I've got everything in my life. Why not? Don't take me to Taco Bell or buy me a car. Just give the money to them because that makes me feel good. That makes me feel really good. So that's what I wanted them to do, and hopefully, I know a lot of people did, so I hope it helped. But, back to Ashmore and stuff like that with Nick. Now, that is April the 11th, you said?
Right, April 11th.
Okay. Wow, because there's like so many things going on in April. It's like I'm looking in my little calendar in my head going, there's like 3 events on that day, all over the place. Like Stanley Hotel up there at Ashmore. There's something else going on somewhere here in Texas. It's like, wow. And they can get the tickets at Nick Roth, tours.com. Now, if he's going to Bobby Mackey's, he's going to Ashmore. Do you know if he's going to, I would love for him to go to Haunted R. Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, I think what he's really trying to do, he's trying to go back to places that he's been to.
Okay.
And so I think that, depending on where he's been in the past, if he had some experiences there, I think that's where he kind of wants to go to. And, and then the venue has to be able to work with them, in order to make it happen, which I don't know why they wouldn't. But, there's some that will, some that won't. So, I think that's what he's planning on doing, just trying to go back to some locations. And, Jeff and Lee and Jennifer are the ones that are kind of putting this whole tour thing together for him. And so they're looking at the locations and making it happen and making it work for him. And then they're run by him.
When we were talking at the Stanley about Ashmore, you were telling me, I know Nick had some crazy experiences in the boiler room, but can you tell the audience kind of some of the things that happened at Ashmore? Because I know you told me something about disembodied voices like crazy.
Yeah, we hear voices there. I mean, I'm only there during the day generally because I've been working on the place. Really, I've been around there at night to investigate it all myself. But during the day, we've heard voices. I was up there the one day, and I heard somebody say he's shooting pigeons. And we had a pigeon problem, and we were getting rid of the pigeons. So I walked over the stairway to see what was going on and see who was coming up. And there was nobody there. Walked down front and saw Dave. And I said, "Who are you talking to?" And he told me, "Nobody. There's nobody here, just him." He said he's sitting on the first step ever since I went upstairs. So my wife heard somebody say, "Hey, Robin," one time, or "Hi, Robin," when they came through, and there was no other women in the building at all, just her. She heard a female voice say, "Hey, Robin," and we were down on the first floor, and there were 3 of us down there heard somebody yell, "Hey," and we were about 125 feet apart, and we all 3 heard the same thing. And it's like, that's a pretty loud voice to be able to hear that far apart. So, but there's Dave heard somebody, the guy that comes out there and helps me quite a bit. He heard a little girl voice when he was down there sweeping the stairs one day. Says, "I like to hide under here," and he said it kind of freaked him out. He's been doing this for a long time. He said he's never heard a voice that long, with a whole sentence like that. So
yeah, that takes a lot of energy.
He said it was kind of freaky when he heard this little voice say that that they like to hide underneath there. But we hear
wow
the whole time. And there's people that come out there that have been helping me work that aren't into paranormal at all, and they've heard voices. My son saw somebody walk through a wall, and because he said he saw him walk behind the door, and there was no wall, there was no opening behind that door. It was just a door that went to nowhere. And so yeah, he saw somebody walk through a wall, and it's a pretty active location. And I think a lot of it's just because we've cleaned it up and done so much to it that it's just gotten more and more active.
Well, that's always the case when you have any type of cleaning out or remodeling or fixing up or anything of an old place where there's lots of spirits. It kind of wakes them up. Sometimes it pisses them off. Sometimes they like the changes. Like at Galena Murder Bordello, that place was like the wind would blow and it would like sway. It was like a piece of crap when he bought it. And, the spirits, obviously we had a psychic with us on a couple of, we've been up there 2 or 3 times, and we had a psychic with us in one of our groups, and she said that one of the prostitutes or whatever, named Rose, loves what they're doing to the place. She loved the color of the bathroom because it was pink. So, sometimes they're happy with things that you do to the place. What about Haunted Art Theater? Were they nice, kind, or crazy when you started remodeling and fixing that place up?
We didn't really we've never ran a problem here at all as far as any spirits do anything different. I mean, we've had some motion lights that go off and on every once in a while. we've heard, I've heard voices a couple of times. We don't get a lot of disembodied voices here. Every once in a while we've heard something. We've seen some shadows. I mean, I've seen shadows myself. A friend of mine and I were downstairs when we were working on the haunted attraction one day. We had these curtains hanging up, and something walked right through those curtains, and it kind of freaked him out because he'd never seen anything like that. And but yeah, he had a few choice things to say.
I'm sure. And a new pair of underwear he needed to go pick out of the car.
Pretty much. I mean, he's down there working. He'd worked down there himself, by himself quite a bit in the basement area. But yeah, when those curtains came through, he wasn't quite sure how to act with that. And then we had some skeletons hanging down there, and one of the guys said one of the skeletons started swinging one day, just one out of the 10 of them I had hanging up. And there was that area. So yeah, we've had some experiences here with some things, but it's kind of crazy because the EVPs that we catch out of here, we catch tons of them. And I mean, it's nothing for us to wander through after 30 or 40 minutes and pick up 15 to 20 EVPs.
Wow.
It's nuts. When Barry and Brad were here and they left, I asked Barry what he thought, and he told me he thought it was probably the most consistent place they'd ever been to. And because he said stuff happens every night that you're doing something. And
wow.
Well, when Brad, those guys were investigating that morning, in the 2 hours that they probably spent, walking around the building, and in 2 hours you don't really investigate that long, especially when you're filming, you're moving cameras
right.
and things. I mean, they picked up 3 or 4 things that day, just walking around that morning, picking up stuff, and most of us were responses to their questions. So
that's crazy. Yeah, when I was watching that and I saw when he turned and one of the EVPs came through, and Gio was like, I thought he said that. It didn't sound like Brad. Trust me, I have heard Brad from whispering to screaming to the top of his lungs, and it did not sound like Brad. So I can assure you that if Brad did not say whatever whatever it was, like I said, you'll have to watch The Strange Curiosity. But anybody that wants to watch, Robin, you've been on several things before. And I know you had, you weren't even, did the Booth Brothers, didn't they film something in Ashmore before?
Yeah, they did.
Before you owned it?
Yeah, before I owned it, they did Children of the Grave 2 out there.
Aha, okay. I'll when you bought it, it rang a bell already, but I wasn't sure. I heard, God, there's so many haunted locations around the United States. It's hard to keep up with, all of their names and everything. But I knew that it rang a bell, but I couldn't figure out why. And then I saw a picture of the Booth Brothers in front of it, and I'm like, okay. But I couldn't remember which one of their projects they did there. Because I haven't seen them all. I just saw a little bit of Dead Still, and it was kind of creepy. So I haven't finished watching that either. But if you want to see Robin on Strange Curiosity, you have to look up on YouTube and look up Brad Klinge, Strange Curiosity, and it's episode 3. It's called A Killer Coincidence. And it features Robin's haunted art theater in Auburn, Illinois. And it's probably about, half an hour long, so it won't take too much of your time up, and it's really a good piece of work. So I'm glad that Brad went up there and did one of his episodes on you. That was on your location. That was pretty cool. Do you have anything that you want to tell the audience before, because we're getting close to, how many minutes do we have? We have about 5 more minutes. So do you have anything that you want to announce or reiterate to the audience?
No, I think we've covered the gauntlet of things there. If we do have Facebook pages, Ashmore Estates, we've got the Haunted Art Theater Facebook page as well as the Original Mystery Machine. And if you do watch Strange Curiosity, you have any questions about it, or you have anything negative, positive, I don't care to say, you're just check me out on Facebook. It's Robin, ROBBIN, last name's Terry, TERRY. Or drop us a message on one of the Ashmore pages or something like that. And I'd be glad to answer any questions somebody has, especially after watching that episode, because it's the synchronicity is just amazing in that whole thing.
Yeah, John Wayne was, man, I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of clowns. Chip doesn't like clowns at all. Nope. And there's a lot of people who freak out on clowns. The freakier the clown, the cooler to me. But that kind of clown would be one I wouldn't want to play with. He had some serious issues, but I can't wait for the second part when Brad comes back to try to confront him again. because he was going to what? There was something, I'm not going to give it away, but he said something that he was going to do. So we'll see if he doesn't do it in the second part of it, because I know Brad's coming back. You just know that. He ain't going to let that go. There's no way John Wayne's going to get away with none of that. So I appreciate you being on my show, Robin. I really do.
I appreciate you doing it.
Oh, man, it's been a total pleasure. It was such a great show. You have so many things going on, and they're all cool. And, again, we appreciate everything you do for St. Jude's and the Junior Diabetes and Lost Limbs Foundation. You're a very cool dude. And I wish you the best, and I hope you have great holidays.
Thank you, too.
All right. All right, Robin. Tell Norman hello, and you guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Selena.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I just wanted to say my birthday's in 2 days. We're going to go to Boonville, Arkansas, to a hospital there that's supposed to be Shadow People Lore. That's what I'm doing for my birthday. If you would please go to Close to Death Facebook page, give it a like, and you can check out next week. I'm going to have Jeremy Leonard on the show. He's been on Travel Channel, several things that he's done. We'll get to that next week, but check out Close to Death on Facebook. Check out FEAR Paranormal Society on Facebook. Give us a like up with what's going on. And I want to wish everybody a great and safe weekend. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And if you would like, go to lostlambsfoundation.org. Hook them up for $5. No Taco Bell for one time. You can do it. Let it add up. Let's help these kids out. Let's help these people out. Get these prosthetics. And I want to thank my sponsor, which is Syntex Roof Systems in Waco, Texas. Thanks a lot, Tony. And I will see you guys next week. Peace out.